probably a good assessment, I think. Our pressure was around, for most of the night. Tackles were pretty good, we thought. Overused the ball, I think, in the first half particularly. And then we just, couldn't get enough ball in our hands for long enough, over the course of the night. So, look, it's probably a fair summation. A couple of late goals in the first quarter, we'd sort of evened the battle out reasonably well, didn't sort of put our chances away. Their third quarter, we've watched the last couple of weeks, they've been able to put a pretty solid quarter in the oppo for the last couple of weeks. We stemmed the flow, but we couldn't get ourselves back into the game after, that 6-goal quarter.
I guess, with the first quarter, as you mentioned, it was, I think you had 10 more disposals, but only doing inside 50.
Yeah.
Sort of sums up sort of the way it went.
Yeah, well, look, part of I think our planning was to retain the ball, a bit like we did last week, retain the ball. Look, Saints did a great job in not letting us go forward with that, so we tended to go a little bit more lateral and hang on to the ball. We didn't get enough value for our inside 50s. Our guys are still learning that at certain times it's okay to take some territory and to move it forward, take a stoppage, reset it. Our stoppage numbers again tonight were back up to probably where we think we can get them to. The clearance numbers are really good, but we didn't take enough advantage of that ball coming out of there. So sometimes in territory games, you've got to be able to just take a little bit more yardage and then reset it and then take your chances when the game opens up a bit more later in the game.
It's been about a lot of spotlight on the club in the last week.
Yep.
Does that sort of noise have any impact on the playing group going into the game?
I don't think so. I mean, from the Thursday, we probably had our best training session for a long time. Our guys were really engaged in, our game plan, what we wanted to do today. I thought their activity, before the game and their preparation was really sound. So I don't think so. I know internally, probably more from Ben and Sonia and Dan, there's a lot of emotional energy that you use to sort of work out, what's going on with the noise externally. But internally, I think we were pretty good.
You guys were quite strong during the week refuting, the reports. Is it a challenge to maintain, your mark on the group and going forward, just making sure that doesn't seep in, in the weeks? Because I'm sure it's hard to avoid for the players, I guess, to hear.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it because they were engaged. That's probably where the frustration for me came from, which, I've got to be balanced and I understand that, there's a function that the media needs to play. I totally get it. But it didn't seem like that was a distraction for us because we felt that our guys were so well engaged as it was.
Let's set aside, you can't set it aside, but apart from
Yep.
the stuff that went on during the week, it's another heavy loss.
Yeah.
You did have a crack.
Yeah.
I guess the danger here is that you fall off the cliff because you're not getting reward
Yeah.
for like sticking in and having a crack. And I
Yeah.
guess where do you go to in that respect as a coach?
Yeah, well, I think, look, a couple of guys coming back will help. Ben would come back hopefully next week. He would help. Hall is not far away. We've got some other guys that are due to sort of start, like a Phoenix Spicer, who's had, some long-term hamstring issues. I mean, Phoenix won't come straight back in, but small forward with great pressure. So we feel like we're starting to get back where guys have got to get back to some form. I don't know how Jaden's going today. R2, Jack Marnie. So I think if we get some selection pressure back, that would really help. From that side of things, I think today too we didn't get enough. Again, the territory game allows you to get the ball in your front half and defend. So at the moment, there's still that issue for us of not being able to turn the ball over in our front half. Whether or not that's Min's not getting into the right spot to defend the ground, whether it's guys around the contest of the ball. I mean, that's what we're going to work on at the moment to understand why we can't retain the ball in the front half of the ground. Because when it spits back out, it comes out pretty quickly. So, and teams like the Saints that are in the top half of the draw, they punish you a lot and quickly.
After a similarly poor first half to the season last year, you managed to sort of turn around a bit in the second half with your competitiveness.
Yep.
Do you sort of look to that as a sign that it can change, and is that something you would relate to the players, that the wheel can turn?
Absolutely, yeah. Because I think you learn. Each week we learn more about where we are. We learn more about our players. you know, I still think if you look across our team at the moment, the growth we've had for some of our younger guys like Flynn Perez, Curtis Taylor, Tristan, you know, Jason and Paul Curtis in the team. You know, we've had 3 debutants this year with other guys, you know, gaining some more experience across the field. Bailey Scott going back to half-back, I think, has been a real winner. I think Lockie Young's continuing to get better as a half-back. So I guess we look at it and say, well, we still feel like we've got growth in the team. Yeah, we've got to bring the score against down. There's nothing, you know, shorter than we've got to do that. But yeah, we will look to continue to learn through, and you know, we've got some terrific results in the second half last year.
Do you sort of view this opportunity to go up and down a bit of a road trip? Is it an opportunity, maybe even a circuit road, you know, galvanise the group and just sort of get together a bit more?
Possibly. I think all road trips give you that opportunity. When you travel a bit more, you tend to, you know, go away and you're isolated a bit together. So that always tends to do that. I felt it galvanised a bit this week, to be honest, as well. You know, had a lot of support internally from the players. They were, you know, they were really looking forward to getting out, and then disappointed with the way that they, you know, the game ended today. So, but yeah, road trips are normally give you that opportunity to just go away. She'll be hot and sweaty, but by the look of it last night. But yeah, those trips do give you an opportunity to just go away and spend some time together.
Just again, a bigger picture question. Do you think internally, you talk about how Thursday was a really good training session,
Yep.
and you saw good signs there. Do you think, you know, there's been talk about you and the way you coach the players, etc. Do you
Yep.
think, you know, the team as a group is still heading in the right direction, is still there's a unity?
Yeah, it's a terrific question, because I think our training for probably the last 6 or 7 weeks has been really good. I think we've been able to build our way through training. We've had more of how we want to play in games over the last few weeks. I mean, it probably didn't feel like it today. We had small portions today. Right, last week we had bigger chunks in the game. So yeah, that's the only area that we can continue to work away and get our game, get our defence under control, is to keep going back to training. So we feel that that's been in really good shape. The players are really attentive. The environment's really sound. They're willing and happy to come to work to continue to get better, and we'll take a bunch of the positives out of today at the same time.
On a personal note, I mean, how do you, I mean, it's just the way it is, there is a bit of speculation about your job. How do you dealing with it? I mean, you're not the only, there's a few other senior coaches that do it.
Yeah.
It seems to be one of those years. How do you deal with it personally?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I'm going okay. I've got really good support around me. I've been overwhelmed by the support that from external, some friends, colleagues, enemies along the way that you come in contact with, that have reached out to make sure that, and they've checked in. So yeah, I've been overwhelmed, but yeah, I'm going pretty well, thanks.
But one of those is Chris Fagan.
Yep.
I think on Friday said, you know, David's been through this before.
Yep.
At Brisbane.
Yeah.
Do you draw on that at all?
Yeah, a lot.
They were pretty tough years. For a while.
They were. I think Fags also said he was probably a bit out of the spotlight. It was a bit different here, which it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's a footy mad town. It's great. It's got that great passion and emotion about it. But yeah, you do, and you check in with those guys, you know, from time to time, and you know, check yourself against where the plan is and making sure that we're on track. So yeah, those guys, you know, like Fags as a sounding board are terrific to have.
Are you on track?
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, it may not feel like it in regards to the cold win-loss and scores. Certainly our fans understand. They clearly understand they're showing us that by their signing up. They clearly understand the support that we had from our members last week was phenomenal. But yeah, we think we are. It's, you know, as I said during the week, rebuilds are difficult. Growing high performance environments is really tough. You know, they're demanding, they're rigorous, but they have to be. You cannot get to the top unless they are.
Will you guys look to the mid-season draft?
I think so. I'm not sure how many picks, but yeah, we'll certainly sit down with that early next week. But yeah, I think that we'd certainly be keen to look at something in there. Just not sure whether it's 1 or 2. We're not sure how that would be coordinated, but yeah, we'll look at something.
What part of the do you reckon you might need to be involved?
All parts. Yeah, it'll be a little bit of the talent that's available. You know, we'll have a look at the balance between the 19, 20 and the mature ages. We'll look at backs, forwards and mids. So there's probably an argument for all areas of our ground, to be fair. You know, whether it's running wingman, half back, whether it's another small forward, another key forward. So I think there's plenty of discussion for us to have in that space.
Any injuries from today? Or?
Don't think so. No, we didn't use the sub at all. So no, I think the guys were okay.